Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear student, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the course of Media Writing with the course code GMC 121-1, lecture number 05. Today topic is writing style difference in newspaper, radio and television news. I, Arfa Bangash, lecturer journalism and mass communication, Kohat University of Science and Technology. Dear student, the agenda of today's discussion is writing style differences in newspaper, radio, television, and side-by-side comparison of all above mentioned newspaper, radio, television, and we will discuss about the inverted pyramid format for the above mentioned medium. Outcomes of the study. At the end of the lecture, student will be able to differentiate between different writing styles for different medium like newspaper, radio, television, and student will be able to enhance their writing power by using the principle of inverted pyramid format. Now I will explain differences in writing style. If we are talking about the differences, so differences are not due to the coincidence. Writing style have evolved in newspaper, radio, television due to the unique nature of each medium and to the manner in which its audience consume each medium. An evolutionary process has been at the work adopting each news writing style to its medium, further by taking note of the gradual shift of many newspapers to a more controversial writing style and the shortening of both television news stories and soundbite. One could well argue that the evolutionary process will continue. So here we will discuss about the three different styles like newspaper style, radio style and television style. So student, here's a newspaper style. News in newspaper is written so that it may be edited from the bottom up. As old editors like to say, a page from is not made of rubber. It would not stretch. What does not fit is thrown away. The reading of a newspaper matches bottom-up editing. The reader's eyes scan the headline on a page. If the headline indicates a news story of interest, the reader look at the first paragraph. If that also proves interesting, the reader continue. The reader who stops short of the end of the story is basically doing what the editor does in throwing words away from the bottom. Historian trace the inverted pyramid, which is not the traditional style of British or other foreign newspaper. So we will talk about the inverted pyramid format for a newspaper style. So what is inverted pyramid? In inverted pyramid, the most important information comes in the first paragraph and continue the story with facts in descending order of a news value. Inverted pyramid is used by journalists and other writers to illustrate how information would be ordered and structured in style. For example, a news report. It is a common method for writing news stories and has wide adaptability to other kinds of text such as blogs, editorial column, marketing, fact sheet. It is a way to communicate the basics about a topic in the initial sentence. The inverted pyramid is taught to mass communication and journalism students all over the world. Now here's the inverted pyramid format. Most most important is the first top. Most newsworthy information like 5 W's, 1 H like who, what, when, where, why, and how, and then important details, and after that the background information or the general information will be described. Inverted pyramid format is valued for two reasons. First one, a reader can leave the story at any point and understand it, even if they do not have all the details. And second one, it conducts readers through the details of the story by the end. Hence, here is second type of news writing format, that is radio style. The radio newscast must be consumed with the sequence that the listener does not hear the second story in the newscast without hearing the first story. The eight story wait for the first seven, which means in practice that all seven are chosen to be interesting to a significant number of a listener and are presented at the length which maintain that interest. In addition to the inevitable significance of thinking, which affect story choice and story length, a pressing concern exists for clarity in both sentence length and word choice. Because the radio listener, unlike the newspaper reader, is up to stop the review and reconsider the meaning of the sentence. The eye can go back, the ear can go only forward with the voice of newscaster. The radio news writing style that has developed the choice of simple word and short attribution in a normal conversation. The reality is that the understanding is more important than grammar to a radio news writer. So here's the third format of writing is television style. Television news refer to circulate current event using video and pictures along with the voice over using. A news bulletin or a newscast are a television program lasting from seconds to hours that provide updates on international, national, regional, and other local news events. Television news is usually based showing video footage of many of the events that are reported. Still, photograph is always photography is also used in reporting news stories, although not as much in recent years as the early days of broadcasting television. Television channel may provide news bulletin as a part of regular scheduled news program. Less often television shows may be interrupting or replaced by breaking news reports, news flashes, or provide news updates on the events of a great importance. So, this was the short view of the writing style differences in. So now we'll discuss the writing differences with the details. So student, here's the side-by-side comparison of newspaper, radio and television. So for that we are using 5 central elements of a news writing style have been chosen for study. First, lead, story structure, sentence structure, word choice, name, quotes and attributions. While doing side-by-side comparison, we will start from the lead, but before that we should know about the lead. So what is lead? Lead is an opening paragraph that gives the audience the most important information of the news story in a concise and clear manner, while still maintaining the reader interest. If a reader does not read beyond your first paragraph, they should still have an idea of what your article is about. and the most important information from that article. There are many different strategies for writing a good lead as well as many differing opinion. But the strongest opinion is that they are hard and take a time. Don't plan on rushing a good lead. Now we will study how to write a lead. There are four points to write a lead. Number one, the 5 W's and H. Before writing a lead, you need to ask the fundamental question of news writing: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Be sure to answer these questions in your lead and leave the less important information for the later in your article. Remember the inverted pyramid as we discussed earlier. Number second, keep it simple. The best lead is one that is concise and clear. Think about your story and then write a simple but powerful way to reflect it. Don't bog your reader down with the overly complicated language or extra words. You must be clear and concise. Number third, don't bury your lead. Your lead is your hook, the thing that makes the reader interested in your story. If you bury it, then their interest might be buried along with it. They shouldn't have to ask themselves what the story is about. You should be telling them unforked. Number 4, the ABC of journalism, the most important. Remember your ABC, which are accuracy, purity, and clarity. Through these should be incorporated throughout your article. They are especially important in the lead. Now, at the end, we will go towards the comparison of media and will compare all these three medium: radio, newspaper, and television. So, in a newspaper, we can define lead as: now, a summary lead is best if it tells readers the most important of the 5 W's and H. How? We'll explain with a different example, like who was involved, what happened, where, when, why, and how did it happen. However, it if include all 5 W's and H will clutter the lead sentence. The less important elements are reserved for the following sentence. An ideal length is 35 words or less. As compared with radio, 35 words are unusually long. A lead sentence half that length is better. It is more likely that only part of the 5 W and H will be heard. Now we'll explain with the example. The way and how will be left for letter paragraph are not included in a short item. Unless the time is sufficient, it is likely to be dropped on the understanding that the today's newscast will present today's news. As compared with television, so television have same as like radio. Now come towards the second point. The lead describes the event in the context of an ongoing situation. The lead begins to put the correct events in its historical framework. The body of the text will include a fuller historical perspective. How? Here's an example. After a 6-month of investigation into charges of corruption in the Pine City Attorney Office, Pine County Attorney requested a grand jury hearing. Such a lead is not unknown in a broadcasting, but it is more common to leave the history out of the lead. As compared with the radio, so the lead usually contains the fewest detail that will clearly relate the most significant element of the events. being reported. Now, history or any other context is likely to be left for the following paragraph in order to keep the lead short and simple. How? Another example, the Pine Country Grand Jury has been asked to look into charges of corruption in the Pine City Attorney's officer. This was the example, and as compared with television, so television have the same as radio. Now come towards the second point. Now in the lead, the story may begins with an unfamiliar name, age, address, followed by details. How? We'll explain it with an example like Nomi, 34, of Lahore city was killed last night near his car. Now we compare it with the radio. In radio, an event concerning a single individual, such as a car crash, which killed one person whose name is not well known, usually begins with the report of the accident without the victim's name. For example, a 34-year-old Lahore city man was killed when her car ran off motorway near Salt Range. That is Nomi. Now come towards the television, how television will explain this lead story. So like radio, a television news lead follow the practice of going from the familiar to the unfamiliar. How? That sharp crew of motorway near Salt Range has claimed another victim. Or if we even we present we explain it in a present tense, so the sharp crew on motorway near Salt Range claims another victim. This was a lead story. Now come towards the type of a lead. It's called umbrella lead. What is umbrella lead? An umbrella lead can cover a number of events of approximately equal importance, same as radio. We come towards the radio, so the umbrella lead which refers to more than one event demands too much of the broadcast listener. Instead, radio and television news writers use the item lead. Now in television, same as we use umbrella lead or item lead in radio, so television will use the same. As we mentioned above, umbrella lead is known as item lead. So now we will explain it in with the details. An umbrella lead is also called a shotgun lead, and it is item lead is as a rifle lead. Here's an example of multiple element umbrella lead from the Chicago Tribune. A 31-year-old motorist was killed and 900 customers in Mexico Electrical Power Thursday after a commuter train plowed into a motorist car and wicked hit a power pole, police said. Now as compared with the radio, so here is a radio version of this Chicago Tribune lead. In a Mexico commuter train plowed into a automobile, killing the driver, the age of the driver, loss of electrical power, and some of the other details would go into subsequent sentence. Now we come and compare with the television. So in television it will be explained like if video footage or videotape shows the driver's body being loaded into an ambulance, it might begin the coverage with a matching copy. For example, a 31-year-old motorist is dead after a commuter train hit his car and slammed into a power pole in Mexico this morning. Now come towards another point of lead, in which we will discuss focus. While the lead has a focus, the news story details with other aspects that do not fit with the focus. A report of an event should be complete with the importance and interest level of the facts. Now we compare it with a radio. So in a radio news summary, there is seldom time to go beyond and expectations of the lead to other elements that do not fit with the focus given in the lead. As compare of both of them, newspaper and radio, television, in television, the focus of the lead server serves as the theme of the entire news story. Television news stories seldom go into, on the other hand, explanations or disappeared aspects of the an event. Now here's another type of lead known as question lead, which are not found in hard news stories. Occasionally used in a light feature stories, they immediately involve readers. In a radio, question leads are rare and they sound like a commercials. As in, compared with the television, so in television, question leads are rare. Now come towards the last point of our topic, or lead, that is, leading with a quote is less common than it used to be. A quote lead is written only when the quotation is the most significant element of the story. How? Now explain with the example. I don't care how much it cost. We are going to have a downtown football stadium, Mayor Mia Amir said today. Now come towards the radio, how radio explain this. So in radio, direct quotes are never used in a lead. They seldom appear anywhere in a newscast. A paraphrased quotation may begin in a story. How? Now the Mayor Mia Amir says he wants a downtown football stadium no matter what it costs. And in television there's nothing like with that. So and that was the ending of lead, which we compared with the three mediums. So thank you so much.